42,000 by 1892, as it's kind of referred to as, well, somehow Maori got sick and they died of influenza, cholera, and all sorts of other diseases. But in the recent histories that we've been doing for the Waitangi Tribunal, it's quite clear that there's a deliberate policy of creating poverty and driving Maori into conditions of poverty. This was called, some economists, forced poverty. Forced poverty is the opposite to chosen poverty, where people choose to be poor in order to be a free people. And there's no evidence that we chose to be poor. And so as a consequence, from an economist point of view, not being able to earn wages and income or get a return on your land as assets meant that people became suddenly poor, and that poverty then led to malnutrition. And it's the forced poverty, the consequential malnutrition and poor health that led to the death rates.
Yes.
And so I see the death rates, the massive decline in population from the 1852 to 1892 as a consequence of forced poverty, and thus a decline. That was all rationalised in some sections of the Pākehā settler community by using some Darwinian thinking. Well, you know, strong, weak cultures will die off in the face of strong cultures. And so they adjusted, and there was a lovely little policy which developed in 1852, but was articulated by premiers in 1892 as our duty, our obligation, was to smooth the pillow of a dying race. So they justified the massive death rates of Maori. Well, this is the law of nature. In fact, it had nothing to do with the law of nature. It had to do with, this is a consequence of forcing people to live in poverty, becoming malnourished and incapable of withstanding diseases that came through.
Yes.
But this history is now being written from the point of view of forced poverty leading to malnutrition, leading to death, and so on and so forth.
Mainly through the loss of their lands, that was.
Sorry?
Mainly through the loss of their lands?
Well, that's only part of it,
Okay.
but it's a big part, because your land is your major capital, and that's your means whereby you feed your population. And there is, in economics, there's a relationship between population growth and population decline with economic growth and economic decline. So if your economy is in decline, it'll have an impact on the population size. And that's what I've just described.
Yes.
So if your economy is booming, you're still going, then there will be an increase in your population. More babies staying alive, you can afford to have more children, and you can sustain them over a period. So, it's an evil period from 1852, in my mind, to 1892, an evil period. And basically since 1892, Apira Nangata and Peter Buck and Turi Carroll, a whole group of new leaders, Maori leaders, got together, and it was about the survival of the Maori people. And along with Te Princess Te they and in the north here, we had the leaders. They said it's about the survival of our people, and they set in motion campaigns, programs to and guarantee Maori survival, and that survival has been almost guaranteed since the 1950s, 1960s and 1970s. So the Maori population has gone from 42,000 in 1892. We're up to nearly 600, 700,000 now. This is the great miracle.
Yes, yes.
This is the great miracle, and the people who should be credited for that is Maori, because it was the will to live and not the will to die. And so you've got generations of tremendous Maori leaders on about the survival of Maori people and our Māoritanga, our way of life. So much so that I'm of the view that there be roughly about, I think, about 1 million Maoris in the world today. So we've got ourselves back to stages where we got a viable future. We've got the new numbers, and we are also increasing our living standards, increasing our ability to generate income through wages and salaries and land and use of other capitals like land and forests and fishing and so on, and so that we, I think, are close to becoming a sustainable, viable community living a good quality of life.
Okay. Now I understand that they celebrate the signing of the Declaration of Independence here, Wakaputanga, during the 26th, 27th and 28th of October. Is this still continuing today?
Yes, I think the Waitangi National Trust has started a celebration day on the 28th of October, and we held the first event this year, in October last,
yes.
and I was privileged to give the inaugural lecture at the Independence Day, and that's going to be an annual event, and I think the 28th of October you'll watch that date grow.
Yes, yes.
In significance, and once New Zealanders see it as the New Zealand Declaration of Independence, it's not, as I say, it's not the Maori Declaration of Independence, it's the New Zealand Declaration of Independence, then there is no threat historically.
Yes.
And therefore we all own it. Then you're free to remedy the wrongs of the past.
Yes, yes.
And that's an ongoing thing, and that's why we have this court of inquiry called the Waitangi Tribunal.
Yes.
So I think that day will grow in significance.
Yes.
And it then means we look at the treaty day, the 6th of, February, in another light.
Yes.
But so the treaty is not a treaty of cession. It's a day to celebrate the opening up of New Zealand to other people who want to live here.
Yes.
According to Maori values.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for that. It's
right.
been very enlightening.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need to ask any more questions, actually. So
That's right.
if you're happy with that,
Yep,
I'm
thank
happy with
you.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
All the very best
Manuka
on the project.
Henare.
Yep.
Kia ora. Ka pai.